that's a wrap for Stephen Taylor. Welcome to the Time Treadmill. I'm Ron, and these are my sweaty thoughts about Doctor Who. The original working title for the Savages was actually The White Savages, and it was intended to be a very thinly veiled commentary on apartheid in South Africa. For those people out there who have accused Doctor Who of going all social justice warrior in the modern era, I would invite you to take a look back at the program's history and ask yourself, what show have you really been watching all these years? Because it hasn't changed. Horrifyingly, the original script for this story called for all of the members of the Utopian Society to be in blackface and wear afro wigs. Oh, thank goodness that didn't happen. If there's one thing recent modern history has taught me, it's that I would not want to be caught with a picture in my past of me in blackface. So thank goodness for small mercies. But in any case, the entire purpose of the script was to flip the apartheid story and to have the oppressors be black and the oppressed quote-unquote savages to be white men. As to why they didn't think they could find a dozen or so black actors to play the Utopian Society, I have no idea. But in any case, that goes to the heart of what this show is all about, addressing the issues of modern society through the lens of science fiction to give us a step back in distance. Now, one interesting thing I read yesterday about this story is the notion that it's a largely forgotten story, that even people who watched it when it aired don't have much in the way of memory of it. And of course, all of the episodes themselves are completely lost. All we have are the audio recordings and photographs, and maybe a half dozen video clips, each of them no longer than 1 second. And perhaps the reason this story hasn't stood out over time is because it completely lacks any monsters, at least of the bug-eyed variety. This doesn't have any monoids or crotons or dominators. The story really is just humans doing terrible things to other humans, and entertaining the crazy notion that actually all humans are equals and are equally capable of horrible things and wonderful things, and that we as a society need to find a way to get past our differences and find our commonalities to live together in peace. There's a point at the climax of the story that is so absolutely true and currently relevant that it hurts. The final plan in the story to bring about the relevant change is for the destruction of the laboratory with all of the equipment that's allowed the members of the Utopian Society to literally drain the life out of the quote-unquote savages. And when someone objects to that plan, the leader of the Utopian Society, who, sidebar, at an earlier point in the story was infused with the Doctor's life energy and suddenly grew a conscience. So anyway, the leader of this Utopian Society points out that those in power never willingly relinquish the source of their power. And that message continues to resonate so well today. I think this story is far better than its reputation engenders. My only real complaint about this story is the abrupt and ham-handed nature of Stephen's departure for the show. There's absolutely no foreshadowing of it. Previously, when companions have left this show willingly, by which I mean alive, the nature and the means of their departure has been telegraphed much earlier in the story, usually through a love story, but sometimes through some other opportunity. In this case, we literally get to the closing 2 minutes of the episode when the laboratory has been destroyed, Utopia lies in ruins, both sides have to learn to come together, and suddenly the leader of the Utopians and the leader of the Savages both unanimously say, what we really need is a neutral leader, and that leader should be Stephen. And Stephen says, what? I couldn't possibly do that. And the Doctor, being a total dick who's always willing to drop companions, even when it's his own daughter, he simply says, yes, my boy, you must stay here and help. Why on earth does my impression of the first Doctor sound like Yoda? So anyway, Stephen elects to stay behind and become king of Savage Utopia Land, and the Doctor and Dodo sail on into time and never see him again. Goodbye, Stephen. Peter Purvis really deserved a much better departure than that. But even with all of that, at least he got better treatment than Jackie Lane as Dodo. But I'll get to that tomorrow. I'll see you then.